Hi there, it's David Young, the Resourceful Coach, and we're going to talk a little bit about your putting today. And one of the big things I see when I go out with players is how often we leave the putt short of the hole. And we're going to cover three things that could be sort of creating this problem for you. So those three things are green reading, which I think is the most important, your mental approach, how you're approaching every putt, and your third thing then is your technique and consistency of strike off the putter face. So there are sort of three key things that we're going to look at. So let's start with green reading. Why do I always start with green reading as the most important thing when it comes to putting? Because if you can't read a green, you don't really know where to aim your putt. And also the thing we're talking about today, which is pace, you don't really know how hard to hit it. So if you've watched my videos before on putting, we talk a lot about what we call the water line. If we imagine filling the hole up with water, I've got a bottle of water here. And if we took the water and we go up to the hole, and imagine I'm filling the hole up with water and it starts overflowing, where would that water run? Now, I've been out and I know the green, and hopefully from there you'll see as I pour that water, the water is running down towards the camera, okay? So what this is telling me is that the putt that we've given ourselves originally must be a straight uphill putt. Simple as that. So why is this so important to understand? Because now all of a sudden I know that I've got to hit this a little bit harder because of the fact that it is an uphill putt. And if we then looked at really four other putts, or the four putts that you might get around the hole, if we were the opposite side, up here, this would tell us now that this is a downhill putt. So again, would give us the idea of the speed that we got to go. And the putts we've got either side, which I call the sort of the 9 o'clock and the 3 o'clock, and now what I call flat putts, because they're level with the hole, you've just got to allow the amount of break. So this putt, in theory, the sort of what I call the 6 o'clock and the 12 o'clock should be the simplest putts, because physically they should be straight. And you've just got to work out the speed from that position. Now, what's really, really important is that you have a mental picture in your mind. This is the second thing we're talking about, of the speed that you want the ball to arrive at the hole. And when we put these two parts together, that's going to determine the line that you choose when you hit those putts. And it's really important that you get that, because if you do, it gives you the confidence and the belief to make the stroke that you want to make. So it helps the technique, but we'll come to technique a little bit later. So I know through sort of running that water down the hill that physically from there, this is a straight uphill putt. There are two sort of speeds I would say golfers need to look at when you hit a putt. Are you the golfer who likes to see the ball literally just drop into the hole? Or are you the golfer who likes to see it maybe run about a foot past? And I tend to encourage the foot past, because when we talk about the technique later, if you're not hitting the ball consistently out of the putter face, you will always underhit. It's a little bit like thinking about if you hit a 7-iron and you mishit it, the likelihood is you're going to lose distance. And the same thing will happen when you hit a putt. Now, we're not all that good. Okay, that's the important thing to understand. We're not professional, we're not tournament players who will hit that ball consistently out the middle of the putter. So if you can mentally think, what I need to do is I need to get the ball to the hole, it gives you that chance. So I know this is a straight uphill putt. I need to commit to that idea of the feeling that the putter is going to go through the ball, keep the ball going up towards the hole. And what I've done there, even though I'm thinking of going 1 foot past, I've ended up actually dead weight. If it had been online, it would have gone in. And you can see from the putt there, it hardly did anything going up the green. Okay, so let's give you another one again. So now mentally thinking, I want to get that ball to the hole. Okay, and that foot pass again, because I'm thinking a foot pass quite early out here. Greens are a little bit damp. We're just arriving there, but I am arriving at the hole. So that's your first thing you're thinking about when you're looking at the speed of your putt, is to think about what's the speed that you actually want to get the ball to the hole, and realize, is it uphill because the water showed us it was, or if I was coming from the opposite side of the hole, now it's coming downhill. Again, I want to imagine the same result as in the ball rolling that foot past the hole. I'm still imagining that same thing. So I'm keeping that consistency going through. That's lovely. That's gone exactly the distance I want to go past. But that is giving me, I'm able to do that because I've read the putt correctly and understanding where the water is flowing. And you can see going up that hill, I've had to hit it a little bit harder. Coming down the hill a little bit softer. If we have one now going across the hill, it's now somewhere in the middle. So straight away your brain is understanding the different speeds, but I'm mentally thinking every ball arriving at the hole, I would have probably run about 18 inches past. But because I'm getting that consistency, it makes it that much easier. So there's our first part, green reading, so important. Find that low point. Where are you relative to that low point? What you've given yourself then is it an uphill putt? You now know you've got to hit it a little bit firmer to get it that foot past. Downhill putt, a little bit less. Cross hill, they're sort of the average speeds. So that's our first bit that we're really interested in. What we're going to talk about now is the sort of the mental approach of how you look at a putt. We've talked a little bit about your speed, but we're going to talk about some things that I come across with golfers which sort of amaze me, and how that makes it very, very difficult to get the ball to the hole consistently. So we're now going to look at the mental approach. So the second part really of this video is really the mental side of the game. How do you approach your putting? And it's really, really important. I mean, we have this old saying, never up, never in. If you never get the ball to the hole, you're going to take another shot guaranteed on that hole. I think that's the best way to look at it. So I would always say to you, look, find a method. As we said, there's two types of method. Are you a dead weight putter? You like to see it just drop into the hole. There's nothing wrong with that. That's good. Or are you a putter who likes to see it have a little bit of pace? I sort of say to golfers, look, what's the distance you think? Well, I'll never miss that putt. For most people, a foot. So put it a foot past. If you think I'm never going to miss a foot putt, roll it a foot past. You're going to get the one coming back. But the plus side of that is if you get it online, the hole will grab the ball and it'll disappear. But as I said, over the years, I've had conversations with people who will stand over a putt. Doesn't matter what the length is, unless it's probably inside 10 feet. And they are mentally thinking, I just want to nudge the ball up to the hole. Just want to sort of get it up there somewhere. I don't want to rush it past. And they think, I can get the next one in. And that's absolutely fine if you want a 2-putt and 3-putt every green. But if you want to get the ball to the hole, you've now got to start thinking consistently about that speed. Okay, start to think, how do I want that ball to get to the hole? Okay, now, if you are the player, and this is just a very simple drill, go out onto the putting green. You normally wouldn't have the full-size flags on your putting greens. You'll have the little ones, or take a club and put it that distance past the hole that you think, I'm happy with that. So I put that about a foot back. So a golf hole is 4 inches across roughly, so about 3 hole widths behind. And now all I'm going to do on this drill is just mentally, this is it, the mental picture is say to myself, I want to see it arrive at the flag. I want to get that ball to the flagstick. That's the thought. There, reach the flagstick. Okay. Now on this occasion I haven't. And you know my videos. That's okay. Because I'll give it another go. But the good thing was, because I looked to get it there, I've ended up probably 6 inches from the hole. So we've got a putt over about 20 feet. And I'm still rolling that up, guaranteed 2-putt. And from my data, pretty much all of us as amateur golfers, if we are getting that feeling of 2-putting from here, you're not losing anything to your playing partners. That's the key thing. Okay, so it's a drill. Look at that one, right in the jaws of the hole. If I'd got it to the flagstick, where would it have been? In the hole. So again, it's that putt. I never got there. So I've now got to work on my technique, got to work on that feeling, that mental picture, get it to the hole. Get it rolling to the hole, okay? On that occasion, we got it there. But what I'd look at, if that's what I'm working on, you'd look at that and think, well, he's got 1 in, he's got 2 stone dead, that's pretty good. But the goal was to get it past the hole, didn't quite achieve it. So it's that mental picture. Think to yourself, what am I doing? Trust the line. What I do to get the idea of the speed first, I'll always go on the water line. So I take the line out of the equation. All right, now so we can do 3, what we're actually setting out to do. Get it to the flagstick. There we go, look at that, went into the hole, lovely. That's the speed. So this is the mental approach. I'm now having a good picture in my mind of the speed. I want to get that ball to the hole. Lovely. Inside that foot. I know I'm not going to miss that. Got 1 in, 1 into that area. Here's my 3rd one. Oh, left out. So you can see just a little bit of practice. All of a sudden now what I'm getting a little bit more consistency in that speed. And that's just something. You go to the putting green, just do 10 minutes of that a day, make a massive difference to your game. Even if you're practicing on the carpet at home, or some of you guys have got some amazing equipment you've got at home in the garage where you've got things set up, go and practice it 10 minutes a day. Change that mindset so you get that speed correct, so you know you're going to get that ball to the hole. If it is a dead weight putter and you're looking to just drop it in, okay, and that's fine, just take the flag and put it at the back of the hole. But if you watch the top players, generally you'll see them all have a little bit of speed going into the hole, because they know then they can commit to that stroke. It's a more committed stroke, which is what we're going to talk about in a minute, which is the technique. And if the technique's not right, how that's going to affect your distance control. But now we know what the green's going to do. We're now mentally in the right place. That's going to make the technique a lot easier. So a third and final bit is technique. And really the important thing when you're hitting good putts is to get center contact off your putter face. So I'm just going to show you very, very simply here. If I bounce the ball off the middle of the putter, you can see how it nicely rebounds off the face. But if I hit it out of the heel, where the little logo is there, you can see how it's pretty much dead. Hit it out the toe, and again, a little bit more life in it, but not as good as coming out of the middle of the putter face. So if we liken a putt to, as we said earlier on in the video, any other shot that we may get in a game of golf, which is if you mishit it, the likelihood is you're going to lose power. The key thing then is the same thing happens with your putt. And if your technique is off, then what you find is then you're going to mishit the putt. And as the putt gets longer, the distance you end up away from the hole just increases. Okay, just got a greenkeeper there just coming up behind us, just doing a little bit of mowing this morning. Okay, so we're going to look at two putts here. We're going to look at what I'd call an average putt, which would be around about 20 feet. And then we're going to look at a putt, we're going to double it. And we're going to see that if we get that consistency of strike, how then it's going to be easy to get the result. I mean, while I've been standing here this morning, some of the golfers have come through, and I've seen such an inconsistency of control of speed, some short, some long, and it will be because they don't know they're going to get that ball out of the middle of the putter face consistently. So let's see if we can put these ideas together. So let's give ourselves a 20-foot putt, which is around about 8 paces. And we're looking now at a little bit of a left to right break. We did the original putts from that angle, coming up the hill. This is now going to break left to right. So again, I'm mentally thinking of the speed that I want to finish that foot past. I'm allowing for the break. And if I get a center contact with that idea, what's the result that we get? So we're rolling down nicely, take that result. Now, I'm going to do exactly the same putt, but I'm going to deliberately hit it out the toe. I'm going to imagine I'm doing the same speed. Okay? Let's see what happens then. So I'm going to do the same speed. I'm going to hit it out of the toe. See what happens. And you can see, look, I'm coming up short. Now, the first putt probably would have gone that foot past. That's come up 6 inches short. So I've lost 18 inches in a 2-foot putt. So I've lost around about, we're nearly talking 10% of my power. So from that distance, and I lose that sort of power, it's not the end of the world. I might be okay. But if we now start to get out to that 40, 50 foot range, we do the same thing. And it doesn't matter who you are, whatever level you're playing at, to get this right by the hole is an exceptional putt. This is even as a tour player, you're going to 10% of the time you're going to 3-putt this. So we're going to allow for the break out there. Let's see if my technique holds up. Looking to get it a foot past. Running up there nicely. So again, just human error, but let's deliberately now see if I'm doing the same power. Hit it out the toe. I mean, that felt really dead. Felt like the same stroke, but look at the difference. Wow, so that one I slightly underhit. Let's just bring that across so you can see the speed. Just checking there's no golfers out here because I'm doing this while they're playing. So the one that I felt I hit well, okay, I've come up to what I wanted. I'm about 3 feet short. I'm 2 feet short of the hole. There was my foot pass. So I'm still in my area that I expect to hold that. So we'd hopefully be down in 2. But look at this one. Okay, I've come right out of the toe. 1, 2, 3. I'm 10 feet short. Okay, I was 3 feet short on that. I'm 10 feet short of the hole and a foot, 11 feet short. So all of a sudden now I'm nearly 4 times further away from the hole. And that's just through poor contact. Go to the putting green, practice hitting putts, 20 feet, get a solid contact. Then go to 30, get a solid contact. 40, solid contact. Distance control is everything. We talk a lot about it when it comes to iron shots going into the green, but the consistency of strike when you're hitting a putt is just as important. Now we're just going to go through one other thing. So if I can fit this in before we finish, I'm going to do this more from this angle. And this is the biggest technical fault I see, especially with long putts, where people go wrong, okay? And it's the length of the backswing. If you watch a really good putter, as the putt gets longer, they're not scared to let the putter swing, get a bit of a fuller backswing. There's so much emphasis about accelerating through. If you only go there and then try to push through, the chances are your contact is going to be poor. So make sure in your mind, mentally, whatever the length of putt, the length of backswing, length of follow through, feel more consistent in their length, either side of the ball. And again, you will get more consistent strikes. You'll start to get more balls out of the middle of the putter face. So there are 3 things we've talked about today. Number 1, green reading. So important. Read the greens, make sure you know what you're doing. That gives you an understanding. Is it uphill, downhill, cross hill? Number 2, mentally go to the green, work out the speed you want to go. I like to go a foot past. Okay, if you are a dead weight putter, that's absolutely fine, but work on that speed. And then number 3 on the technique, work really hard on getting that center contact out of the club face. If you start to get that, you're going to get so much better results. You saw what happened with my 40-foot putt when I got a decent connection, but just didn't quite get the speed right. I still got within a couple of feet of the hole, but once I hit off the center of the putter face, I was nearly 4 times further away. Get those 3 things right, you will start to get more balls to the hole, you will start to hole more putts and have a lot more fun. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have, please subscribe to my channel, share this with your friends and press that little bell for notifications. And I look forward to seeing you soon for my next video. Thank you.